So just because we have AI doesn't mean that all of a sudden you become funny. If you were not funny live, you won't be funny on AI.
Yeah.
You feel me? All that's happening is you are turning those ideas that you should have acted and putting it into characters that can actually work for you just by prompts without actually having, but you are still the person that is creating that.
Welcome back to Misunderstood. I mean, there's a lot happening in the misunderstood world. If you haven't checked it out already, Josie, we're coming. We're hosting an event, one night only. Go get your tickets. It's happening. We're doing it. It's for the culture. It's for the vibes. That's where we are. But today, the conversation that we're having is about making people laugh, making people have a good time, and telling stories that sometimes have a bit more truth to them in a funny way. All good jokes have truth to them, and this person seems to do it well. Sacre Kayemba. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on the podcast. Khumo, appreciate you, my brother.
I appreciate you for coming. I appreciate you for giving me your time, and I want to say thank you, bro, because I mean, you're someone who's doing it, you're someone who's in the space, you're someone who's growing, and to be showing up here, I appreciate that so much.
Oh, good, brother. Love.
I want to talk about your comedy journey. I want to talk about making people laugh. I want to talk about the difficulties. And I want to talk about comedy in the 21st century because I think it's interesting. It's not like back in the day where people were just trying to get sitcoms. People were trying to just make their 1 hour. There's a world of online. There's a world of creativity. There's a world of getting your name out there. At the moment where you are in your journey, what would you say when you think about comedy has been the thing that you've found that's drawn you the most in, but you've also struggled the most with?
I think it has drawn me more than struggling with. I remember the first mic I grabbed was given to me via Jam Jam, the comedian. You know what I mean? That was at Mojito. It was like the Dungeons. But also at the time I was homeless. You feel me? So it was a weird time for you to go, I can be funny. You know what I mean? While sleeping in a car, like, well, you get what I'm saying? So I actually found it while I was going through a bit of a moment, but just grabbing that mic on that day, it kind of felt like, yo, let's just roll with this thing, you know what I mean? I was excited rather than nervous, you know? So it has drawn me more closer to actually knowing who I am, what I love, what type of creative artist I am, which is stand-up comedian, and from that, it's like creating skits, content, which all falls down into being a comedian, you know what I mean? So it's dope, it's drawn me in and it's elevating me actually.
Yeah.
Away.
It's an interesting thing because, as you say, you're taking a mic when you're at one of the lowest points in your life and where you are. When you took that mic, were you telling the world things that you were trying to process, or were you simply making sense of the reality that you were facing?
It was more like tapping into my personal problems, like my personal issues, like, but not from, you know what I mean, like trying to vent or anything. So. And also it was more based on my family rather than my actual situation of being homeless. So I went on there, my first gag was by my Uncle Prince. I still tell it up until today. It was like 7 minutes long. That's because it just started, I don't know how to end the joke, when to start the joke, how the model works. What I do know is that dude was hilarious. You know what I mean? So I just want to tell people my experience with my Uncle Prince. When I did that, I had a bit of like a roller coaster where they laugh, they don't laugh. But just a little bit of laugh was enough for me to go, I can do it again. You feel me?
Yeah.
I can do it again. Let me try again. And that's how I just like, okay. You feel me?
When did you learn that, as you said, a joke is more than just a story, that there's moments you're looking for, that there's beats you're trying to hit? Because, as you said, picking up the mic for the first time, you're simply just out there for 7 minutes. You don't know all the things that you're trying to do, the things
it's
that
actually 5 minutes. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's 5 minutes.
4 minutes and they're flashing you like, yeah, but wrap it up. 5-8. Start, you feel me? So, yeah.
So, walk me through that world, like your first coming of that world and realizing that, okay, there's a 5 minute set, they're going to flash me. Like, what was that like? But also, what was it learning that world?
It's called experience, right? So experience obviously just going through the same thing over and over again, and as time goes by, I start to pick things up. So for example, I'll stick to the joke of Uncle Prince, which used to be my uncle, how he came here, took him to swimming pool, or he wanted to go to the beach, we took him to swimming pool, almost drowned. So, you know what I mean? So, and what that kind of like, I reference that to like black families, where if someone dies, it's not because of some medical reasons, like white people, when they die, they call like, oh, he had cancer, you know, he died. Black person dies, like, bro, there's either the mother's side or the father's side, there's witchcraft involved. Yeah. You feel me? But it was so long. And then as you keep telling the same joke that is so long, you start to realize spots where people are laughing the most, and where people are listening the most, and where people are like just off. And so what you do is you record that set. That's now the learning process. You record these sets, you go out there, you get in your car as you're driving home, you replay the set. So now you're hearing your sound from an audience perspective, but also from an editor perspective, all going, oh, maybe if I cut that part out, and let me try that, and you go out and try it again. So that's the learning process of going, how do I edit this joke? You know what I mean? How do I refine the joke? And then you write it again, and you try it again, and you listen to it again. So that's the learning process of how a joke works. Well, not the writing part, but just the editing part from an audience perspective, if you were to listen to it.
Yeah. Do you always remember being funny, or was it something that you had to like teach yourself over
Bro,
the
I
years?
grew up around funny people. Dog.
Really?
I could name, because you see what I mean? Like, I grew up around like a crazy childhood where like bros were just bros. You feel me? Like, I used to stay in Baker Street right around the corner. So we would be playing soccer with like hilarious, super funny people. You feel me? So that's another thing of going, oh, he's the funny guy. Because everybody's just like hilarious. You know what I mean? So because of that, you don't tap into, oh, I can actually be this person, I can do this. I can tap into the comedy world, because you're not the only guy that does it in the streets or around your friends. You know? So the realization of me going, I can be a comedian, actually is not based on me being a funny guy all my life. It's more of me going, I actually love doing this thing. You know what I mean? I enjoy doing this thing. You know what I mean? Despite of the fact that there are other people that I grew up with, I believe are incredible in comedy. Could be incredible. But, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe just, I tapped into a different world. You know what I mean? I found it and I was like, yeah, I roll with it.
Do you remember, like, what were the things that made you laugh when you were younger? Like, if there was moments or if there was, like, memories that you had that you've been able to both carry through in terms of the comedy that you do now, but also when you think of just, like, genuine, pure laughter and comedy in its purest sense?
It will have to be, like, my brother's wife. Because I grew up around them, I stayed with him. Because we all came in South Africa, we couldn't speak English, you feel me? So it was just funny
Wait, really? Wait, that's such like a interesting, okay, but yeah.
Oh wait, so we got to it when I was 8 years old, right? So I went to school in Sotra, which is at Trident Primary School. And because I was the only kid that was like learning the English language, I had to teach them the English language. And you know, kids being kids, man, tell me like good morning is, I have to say it is what it is. People taught me that good morning is all you just. And because I'm the only bra in the household, dog, that's like learning, going to school, when I come home, they want to know, bro, like, what's this, what does it mean? I'm telling you, yeah, good morning, like, if you want to greet, bro, it's all you just, you feel me? Yo, but the thing is, this is all facts, you feel me? Like, now can you just imagine, like, us waking up the next morning, like, are you just? You're just greeting each other, like, are you just, you feel me? So it's like, when I think of these moments, even up until today, when I look at it, it naturally just makes me, you know what I mean? Yeah. So those are things that, like, my family, I feel like there's a lot of humor within my family, within my little niece, and all that things. I think that just naturally makes me laugh.
Yeah. I'm curious to know, and I'm curious to see if you ever draw a tie between the two. At 8 years old, you're picking up a new language, right? Which means that it's not necessarily as like a native. It's not necessarily everything that's around you. So it's very much a learning process. Do you think that allowed you to understand the language and appreciate the language in ways that like you then maximize on comedy, in ways in which you're like hearing things, thinking about things? Because it's not necessarily like other people who just, I guess, don't always appreciate the value of their words because they didn't have to learn how they came together and the importance of them. Whereas you at 8 and then going on further into your life, you've kind of had that development and had to like really pick it up and learn it. Sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's an honor. First of all, I have to say this. It's something that I always like look back to and like I'm grateful for. The fact that I can speak the English language, understand some of the languages within South Africa, like Afrikaans, isiXhosa, a bit of like Zulu, you know what I mean? It's always an honor because it lets you link and like somehow understand the next person's perspective. You understand? Growing up from the age of 8, I went to a colored community-based school with mix of about Xhosa people. So I did that, but my whole life I've lived around the colored community. So playing after school was around colored friends. Going to schools, colored friends. I hardly had any Congolese friends at the time, you feel me? And that so happened to be that we were living in different areas now. You know, like we stayed in Salt River, we lived in Maitland, we lived in Kraakfontein, bro, we lived in Crossroads in Philippi, we lived in Wynberg, bro. Listen, the rent was never paid on time, you understand? That's what I'm trying to say. But like, living in all these different areas kind of shapes you to go, oh snap, now you're filled with culture, you feel me?
Yeah.
So then, because I tapped into the whole concept of being a comedian, now I put all these things together and I just try and bring it out as, yo, this is who I am. Yeah. This is the package that I have. And there's still a lot to learn, you feel me? Like, there's still a lot of things I need to tap into. There's still a lot of like childhood things that I feel are funny, but I haven't tapped into how to actually unleash that funniness to that extent. But I'm still working on that, you feel me? So, yeah, man, I'm always honored to, like, it's a privilege to be able to communicate in this language and to communicate with other people as well. In the language is not necessarily my native language. You know what I mean?
It's interesting. Diversity in South Africa is one of those things that is both a privilege or an adversary, and especially in the comedy space.
True.
Right? Especially when you listen to comedians and you listen to them speak, you hear them speak about the difference between like black rooms and white rooms in South Africa. And it kind of emulates the same thing that happens in the United States with like black rooms, white rooms there, and south, north, whatever. But in South Africa, that breadth and diversity goes even further because it's not just a black room, it's not just a white room, it's a colored room, it's a Zulu room, it's a Xhosa room, it's whatever room is its diversity, and you kind of have the ability to speak across the board and in that breadth. For you, when you think about comedy, when you think about its limitations, if any, what is your take on this idea of there being rooms in South Africa? But also, how do you feel about being able to navigate or be flexible in them?
I think the idea of having rooms is very important. As comedians, we need rooms, you know what I mean? Because that's where we get to like test our material live. You know, and it's being tested by people that don't know you. They don't care about you. You know, so the idea of rooms in general, I think it's a must. If you can open a room, open it because it helps the community grow. You know what I mean? When it comes to tapping into different rooms, man, I've died a couple of times. Trauma, bro. Like, damn, are these people racist or something? Like, you feel me? But like, that's the thing. Like, what I think about tapping into rooms where it's like hardcore, where people are like kind of not getting you or like they're just not feeling the jokes. I feel like that reveals the empty space that you need to fill. Because everybody can laugh, bro. If you think about it. I don't care who you are, bro. Like the straight person that is just all professional. Everybody has a moment where they laugh. So, and obviously you can't make everybody laugh. There are certain people that they're just not. But when you are in rooms where maybe, for example, you struggle around white crowds, you got to ask yourself, what is it about your material that does not reach the white people? You understand? If you're in a room where there's a lot of colored people and you're killing it there, you got to go, what is it about my material that kills so hard in the colored communities or colored rooms, but like when I tap into the white rooms, it does. So what is it? Is it the way I pronounce the words? Is it the delivery of the word? Because if it's maybe the accent, you know what I mean? So then you gotta, so again, a learning curve, go in different rooms. That's how it shapes you to become a better comedian as well. So for instance with me, if I tap into like a colored community, I can use this accent to the fullest. And I can even do the gestures. So I grow around them, understand the culture, understand how to speak, understand everything. So it's easier. But when I tap into a black room, for example, then I gotta slow down with my speaking. So, because I understand my accent is very like aggressive, it's rough. Understand? So now I gotta I'll deliver the same joke, but in a slow pace. You know what I mean? So that my words are not like go over. Understand? So the same thing when I tap into the white community, for example, then I'm just using normal accent. But again, just speed. I think speed is what like plays a huge role depending on what room I'm playing in. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
When you think about tapping into people's psyches, which I think is the very hard thing to do in comedy, and it's the thing that I think you've even said now, in just going amongst different communities, that's a rare skill. And I always say, I think sometimes, I've always seen comedians underappreciated because they're always around comedians. So they all understand that they can read a room. And you're just going like, no. The average person can't do this skill. Tap into the psyche of a room, understand how it's feeling, give it life, speak to it, be able to play into it. For you starting to gain that craft, starting to gain that experience. But when you are creating a joke, writing, thinking about the moments before you are actually doing the comedy, how do you align yourself with that psyche?
Okay, cool. So first of all, I think comedy is very, I like to say intuitive first. You know what I mean? Like, I always say that there's not one comedian that walks onto a stage and go, I want to mess someone's day up.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the most diabolical thing and I want them to have the worst time of their lives. I don't think there's one person that believes he's a stand-up comedian that actually does that with intention. You know what I mean? So, tapping into that psyche thing is all about self. It's of what you think is funny and you think other people will find funny. But you don't know that until you actually get on stage. Again, it boils down to repetition, you feel me? Of going, okay, I know this is funny. I can hear it. Before you write the joke, that's like, you get a supernatural connection to God, bro. You know, because the jokes, you can't really like, okay, you can't write the joke, you can script, I can't script. But I'm talking about the top-notch jokes that you know, or maybe Chris Rock's, Dave Chappelle, you can name Kevin Hart. Most of these jokes, I can promise you, are not necessarily like written off the dome. You feel me? Some of them are just like, you get the idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're chilling, like, oh, let me start a podcast and like, let me have a table like this. You know what I mean? That's before the design, bro. You gotta question, where does this idea come from? You feel me? So now when you get the idea, it goes, that's funny. You laugh for it. Well, a joke that's gonna make you laugh for it, you feel me? But jokes don't make you laugh. Why must I laugh at it? You feel me? So you gotta get the idea, and then once you get the idea, then you go, damn, how do I deliver it though? To someone that maybe doesn't, get the specific part of the joke. And then you gotta question it, like, then you gotta remove the things that are maybe sensitive, like, okay, there's maybe a lot of LGBTQ offenses in there. Although it's a cool joke, self-awareness of the joke as well. But then at the end of the day, bro, it's just like, once you have that, you gotta go into the room and drop it. Once you drop it, if it doesn't catch, dog. You feel me? Hey, bro, then you gotta go back in the boss out like, hey, but you gave it to me, bro. I trusted you. Feel me? Yeah. But if it doesn't land, it doesn't land. But then again, it keeps coming. It's just like a cycle. It's like it's also that connection with God, letting Him give you the ideas, script it down, deliver it, and find out.
Yeah.
And I think the tapping into someone's psyche thing, I think that is you tapping first into your own psyche before you can tap into another person's psyche, you feel me? So if you can tap into your own psyche, automatically it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, bro, it's flow.
I want to talk about the moments where you miss, right? The moments where you think you've got it and then you don't have it. But when you think, yeah, this is a hot five, I've got fire, fire. And then you drop it, crickets.
Crickets, bro. Ish.
I want to ask you about the first time it happened. Because I think there's a thing that most people don't see because everyone always watches the finished product, right? Everyone watches you at
mainstream
doing a Savanna thing, going, this guy's really got it, this guy's really funny, these people are really hitting it. And I'm going, I've watched those people, I've watched those people really working and grinding. What was your first moment and experience of it like? But also what brought you back? Because I think people don't know what it's like to have to step into your car, close the door, go. I'm gonna drive home and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back.
Other comedians they saw what happened there.
But yeah.
Chief, bro, let me not lie to you. That experience, it's always, it requires stubbornness, bro. Boy, it requires you to be stubborn. I've seen niggas die and never come back, bro. Niggas posting feeding cows now. It requires like a level of like, I died. I gotta make it up, because you feel like you're broken, bro. Because it's something you love. You really believe you can make money out of this thing. You genuinely believe that you have what it takes, and then you go into a room and then it's crickets from the kid go, hey, nobody's saying hey back. How are you doing? Nobody's saying shit back. Like people are minded because you know what I mean. Like open mic rooms are usually the roughest.
Yeah.
Because people don't care. They came there to eat. They came there to buy the drinks. It's their child's birthday. You want to tell some jokes. Who are you? You know, mainstream, bro. Who are you? Hey, you know what I mean? Looking for validation, yeah. But like, going into that room, bro, leaving like that, bro, it breaks you. It really does. And it requires stubbornness, bro, to go, I still believe in this thing. I still believe that despite the fact that no one laughed today, I'm going to work on this material again. I'll shoot it again. It requires stubbornness, bro. Without stubbornness, I think that's why most comedians fall off. You need to have that tough skin, like, tonight worked. Anyway, if it worked, you gotta be humble enough to go, okay, let's keep it rolling. Feel me? Yeah, bro.
I'm always curious as into the difficulty of writing a good joke. And the reason why I say this is because good jokes are told, as you said, it's a repetitive process.
Yes.
It's told over and over again. And somehow comedians have the capacity to firstly one seem as if they're telling a joke for the first time. So there's a part of them there's a part of them that almost seems as if they're telling a joke for the first time, right?
Yes.
There's the new cell. Hey, and you could be telling this joke for the 50th time, 60th time. But then there's also the second part, which I never understand, which is you start to go, this is a good joke, but then you tell this joke in one room, it goes crazy. Then in the next room, it gets no response. How do you evaluate when to keep a joke versus when to say, I'm going to do away with it?
When to throw a joke away?
Yeah.
I think once a joke, I mean, if you try a joke in a room, I'll use race because we live in a very diverse country right here. If you tap into like a colored community, right, a colored room, and the joke doesn't land, you can note that down. You know what I mean? I think you should give it a time, like a time span. You can work with it, but give it a time span, bro. Like if you're tapping into a colored community, it's not working. You're tapping into the black community, it's not working. The white community is not working. You refine it to try and polish it or whatever, still not working, bro, drop it. Like, go on to the next. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I do. If I feel like the joke is not like, it's not landing as I thought it would, or for like, I'll just make an example sample of maybe 30 rooms. I think that's a good sample to go, okay, cool, man. Done with that. But maybe the joke that you think is not working, maybe you're just putting it in the wrong space. Like, maybe if you placed it after spoke about your mom in a shorter span, then it might hit. So it's like, again, intuitiveness, bro, to go, damn, that joke don't land on it. Like, you gotta learn with, but then again, if you try all those things and it's not working, you gotta move on to the next show.
Yeah.
Like, continue, like, and then maybe in the future, you'll find out that, yo, I can actually bring it into this now. And then it gets a different shape, you feel me? So I don't think you can actually really throw a joke away. Just keep going. You might find later that it actually plays a role in a certain part of your material. better than what it is right now. You know, so, but until then, keep it aside and move on to what actually works and build your one man weekend.
Yeah. I want to ask you about your writing process, because I guess it looks different for everyone. But what does it look like over the last 3 years developing it? But also, where would you say it is now in terms of how you feel about its refinement, but also in terms of how you feel about it finding an identity and a style?
So at first, to begin off, I was never writing. It was just how I feel, what I think is funny.
Jeepers.
Yeah. And then I'll go straight. I said exactly how I thought it should be said and how I felt it should be said.
Yeah.
You feel me? It boils down to that whole thing of like just connecting to the Most High, bro. You feel me? It's just like, I feel this, I saw that it's funny. I drove and I saw Don doing this, and man, I'm gonna go say that exactly as it is on stage. Or you got an idea, and you just drop it. That was like the beginning, like the first, let's say first year or so. But then you chill around comedians, you see some of these people come through with books now. With the book and a pen, boy. Hey, whoa. That's what I mean business, dog. He's come with a pen and a book. Yeah. What am I doing wrong? Because clearly he's also getting ideas. He's also drawing through funny things. But he's got a book and pen. So now I'm looking and I see with your own eyes, like, okay, let me try this. You feel me? Now you get idea. You see the dog, same thing. But you go, you laugh, you know, I want to say it like that, but let me write it first. You feel me? Write it as I saw it and then read it. So like the reading process goes to like, okay, where is the pun in the writing that I'm doing? How long does it take for the story explanation to get to the pun? Because when you're explaining a story, people are listening. When you drop the pun, they're supposed to laugh. You feel me? So now you go, okay, cool. This is the story, right? How long is the story even? I mean, people don't have a long attention span. Sometimes you start with your mom for like 2 fucking minutes, but no punchline, bro. Nah, dog. Give my refund, dog. Are you wasting my time? You feel me? So then as you're writing it down, you go, okay, how long is the story compared to the pun? Because the pun is still part of the story, but like the explanation of people going, what is it talking about? How long does that take to get to the pun? You feel me? So then that's how I write my jokes. I get that here, I write it down as I get it. Once I have it like that on page, I go, where are the puns? And you know what I mean? Like the exaggerations, the stupidity in the jokes. And then I try and like mix it on there from your with a pen. Okay, cool. So this is my dad. Okay, cool. The pun might come here. I'll move the pun aside. Okay. This one. Okay, then the story continues. Okay, cool. Let's exaggerate a bit. You know what I mean? Like a bit of shouting, hand gesture. So then that's how you continue writing it down. And that's how my process goes. As far as I know. Stealing, it works.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing that you say, which is part of your writing process is you're also directing yourself. And that's an interesting thing. Where does that come from?
I never thought of it.
Yeah.
You just pointed it out, like, actually.
Because you're not saying I'm putting words to something, you're saying I'm putting actions to words.
That is directing.
And that means you're giving life to the words, but you're also aware of, beyond me telling a story, I need to visualize a story.
Yes.
I need to be able to sell you a story and make you feel as you're a part of that story. And oddly enough, it brings me to this moment where I had first seen you and you were emulating a Doi Doi. And that's when I was like, yes, okay, I get this person. You are very active and mobile and you're very conscious about your movements. Where did that come from? Because that's not something that most people consider in stand-up comedy. Most people consider it as just a speaking medium, but there's a part of you that does the movement acting part of it.
I think that comes from my inspirations, man. One of my biggest inspiration in comedy is Bernie Mac, Kevin Hart, Bill Burr. You feel me? And I watched, bro, like I'm doing binge watching, and I could play the same comedy specials of these folks like every other day because it never gets boring. You feel me? So, but when you watch this and then they become inspiration, you want to be like these people. You feel me? When you drop a joke, you talk about your mom. What did your mom say? You feel me?
Yeah.
Oh, she smacked me. But like, you're not saying she smacked me in the sense like of abuse, like, because this was delivery, how you deliver the thing. You feel me? So I think that whole thing of putting action to what I'm writing, because you get different kind of comedians. You get comedians that just stand and tell jokes as it is. You get comedians that are comfortable sitting down and telling a joke. You know what I mean? But I prefer that speaking and acting. Feel me? Like toy. I couldn't just be like, and so we started toying. I think that's boring. Feel me? Like, just then like, so we told my friend called me, and then and then we were like, hi, like that. I could put some, you know what I mean, some act to it, because the end gives it extra spice from what I think I got from my inspiration. So yeah, bro. I think all that comes from my inspiration. But I never thought of it like as in literally like, oh, I do put action behind my characters. I never thought of it.
And even like the second part, characters in comedy. You are this like this is why I always say it. I think it's the thing I said before the show. Little do people appreciate how much goes into thinking about 5 minutes. And there's characters, there is moments, there are actions, and you are putting together essentially a full narrative arc in 5 minutes.
Facts.
When you think about beyond storytelling, beyond comedy, when you just think about things you enjoyed and things that brought you joy in the sense of good stories, where did you remember seeing good stories first?
Stand up. Good stories that made me laugh has to be stand up. I think The Little Man was one of my favorite comedy specials up until today. A grown little man, I think, that's given heart. Up until today. When I look at that comedy special, just the delivery and how he speaks about his kids and you know, the situation we talk about is the gangsters and all that, that goes, damn, bro. I remember I watched it in the living room at midnight. People are sleeping. And because, you know, parents, bro, you call me making that noise. I was dying in silence. So I think that's where that, wow, these are good stories came from.
Yeah.
Again, it's just inspiration, man.
Yeah.
I was grateful for those people because they, I think for me, they've shown me, they've like leashed something in me that I didn't know I was capable of. Feel me? Like, okay, cool, let's try this thing out. But storytelling, inspiration.
Yeah.
Comedians.
I want to, I want to speak about what you've been doing in this year in particular, the Savanna stuff, and I want to kind of give full life to that story because I don't understand how that world works and what that is. But before we get into that, for people who don't know, what does the comedy scene look like at the moment? But also, what are the rooms when you talk about them? Because this is the one thing comedians do. They talk about rooms like everyone sees them. Like they've been to these things.
Another room, I'll see you there.
It's like, I've been to 30 rooms. Like, So,
30 rooms, hey, DD, no, man. Pull up right now. Yes. Wait, please repeat that. I would carry that.
Yeah, so what are rooms? What do they look like? What is the scene like at the moment? Because I don't know. If somebody says give life to the thing that you do, and they say this is the thing that you do, where are you doing this thing? What does it look like, and who is there?
So you get different kind of rooms. If you're like, when you say rooms, you're talking about like stand-up comedy places where that stand-up happen. So if you hear someone first saying, I'm playing at that room, doesn't mean he's gonna be playing in his bedroom or his mom's bedroom. It means that he actually is going to go to a stand-up comedy place where you can actually like do stand-up, you know what I mean? So that's what rooms means. What it look like differs, man. You gotta look at where it's taking place, then you can know like what kind of people expect, you know what I mean? Like demographics. So, for example, if you're playing in town, you can, and it depends on the rooms, depends on the host as well. You know what I mean? If you've got maybe a room in Kloof Street, you can expect a lot of white people up in Kloof Street because that's mainly that kind of like vibe there, you feel me? But if you go down towards maybe Long Street, you can expect a mixture now of maybe black and colored people, you know what I mean? Because that's where they prefer chatting a lot, you feel me? So that's what it looks like. And then because of that, especially with the circuit, if you're playing these rooms, you become familiar with what to expect and how to deliver. At the same time, it helps you sharpen the material for situations whereby you find yourself around a room that's filled with white people. Because you're playing in these rooms the whole time. You, for example, in Cruise Street, you're playing there, but you're playing Long Street the same night, and you tap into, so you're constantly changing your narrative, your delivery. You feel me? I mean, if you look at the New York circus, where people do like 18, 15 rooms a night.
Yeah.
That's a crazy repetition. You feel me? Us here, bro, on a regular week, let's just say Tuesday night, you've got like 2 rooms. Over a week, you might have about 4 or 5 rooms. But then again, there's so much comedians, so you can't necessarily play all 5 rooms every single week. So on average, you may be doing about 3 rooms, per week, which is not a lot. Which means that you have to do a lot of homework out of the rooms.
Yeah.
Mirror, bro. Yo, the mirror is your friend, homeboy. You feel me? So you come back on that stage, comedians go, oh, yo, I haven't seen you like in time. What have you been working on? Like, your jokes have grown. You feel me? And it's like, yeah, because you don't need a room necessarily. You get to a point where, like, once you get your rhythm, it becomes less of how many rooms you are playing. I'm not saying don't play any rooms, but it becomes home. What are you doing outside of the rooms? You feel me? So that's what room means. It means, like comedy places where comedy take place, but also how the scene is looking. It's competitive, bro. Niggas are funny, bro.
Yeah.
There are funny cats in the room in the city. So it's about, bro, building your audience out of that also. You feel me? Because now we live in a digital world. You feel me? So you don't need to necessarily rely on Uncle XYZ to put me on.
Yeah.
You feel me? You can put yourself on now. If you think you've got what it takes to build your own audience, people that trust you, that find you hilarious, because now you can reach them via the phone now.
Yeah.
You feel me? People can actually come out and buy tickets because they mess with you. You don't even have to be the funniest person on earth. You can fill a room up. You feel me? So it's digital world. So the scene is about like, it's getting a bit old school now, bro, because like people are tapping more, like I said, into the TikToks, the Instagrams, the YouTubes. So you gotta, you can't be out just relying on like,
I'm gonna stand in front of you.
Hey, bro, go tell the joke recorded and posted.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You feel me? People, and it's not to do a show, and niggas will come, bro. You feel me? So it's keeping up with the momentum. AI is in now.
Yeah.
So you know what that means? That means you don't even have to do stand up or be in front of a camera yourself. You can get a dog to do your shit for you. Your face doesn't have to be seen anymore. Dogs are funnier than humans, bro. Hey, those AI dogs. Ah, boy. Those niggas are hilarious. Did you not see the skits, dog? Don't you see them? Like, the AI videos.
This is why I don't do TikTok. I'm not on TikTok for these.
Bro, you're in delay mode. You don't need to do podcasts like this. You can put 2 dogs sitting across each other.
Chatting beans, bro.
AI, boy. So now it's like, you gotta keep up, boy. And get left behind. You feel me?
The digital world, which is an interesting one. It is interesting because there's so many people who are for it or against it, right? It also means that you have 2 types of comedians now developing in this new day and age. You've got comedians who develop first their digital audience before they develop their live audience, right? So that was particularly, I'm forgetting his name, not Andrew Schultz, Matthew Rife. Yes. So he was one of those big ones, but of course, he didn't really develop online. He was in the wild and out space. Like, he had been in the comedy scene for quite some time. But at least his growth, his dominance did come quite a lot from digital media, and then he went on into his live shows. And then you kind of had the very old school people, right? The people who were still like, I'm going to stay at the stand-up thing. And over time...
You get left behind, boy.
Exactly. I'm interested now at this moment and at this juncture, when you think about comedy as a whole, and when you think about developing comedy, are you telling different jokes to different audiences, whether they're in the room versus whether they're online? And do you feel as though you're using the same creative and comedic gene when you're creating online versus for stand-up?
Okay, cool. So I'm assuming you're meaning like skits and actual stand-up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's now, it's 2 different things, but it falls under the same genre, right? So you get music, but you get rap, you get jazz, you get all kind of, you get comedy, you get jokers, you get clowns, you get content creation comedy, you get live stand-up comedy. So there's a lot of, and unfortunately, I don't think everybody can have the best of all of those. You feel me? There are legit people who actually can only do stand-up. They can't actually go behind the camera and like do something funny, a gesture or something. They actually can't. Maybe they have, I don't know, this or something, but it's not part of them to do that. But when I'm creating this, I create content online. I've done a couple of skits with a character that developed called Predicament. And Predicament was inspired by myself. I visioned myself in our culture, right? Being a foreigner, going to school, when someone says something, you don't understand it. You feel me? And just going, huh? Yeah? Yeah? Huh? You feel me? So now I took that experience and I turned it into a character whereby I put myself in like construction areas, because that's where a lot of like foreign people are working. Put him in a construction area, and then I'll play as the boss and be like, Predicament, give me the brick. Like, huh? And he laughs, yes, but like it's a joke, you feel me? So I tapped into that and went crazy, you feel me? And I'm like, okay, cool. But that has nothing to do with stand-up. You feel me? Absolutely nothing to do with stand-up. That's just a character that I've got online. But there are people that will buy tickets to come watch you live, not because you're gonna perform the predicament you did online, no, just because they message you online.
Yeah.
They just wanna see you live, bro. You feel me? So it's like, the creative genius behind it is just like, the sense of humor is okay. I've got an idea, it's an imaginary, like a vision, like a visionary kind of like idea. It's not necessarily like something you can say out, but something you can act out.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's like being able to split the two, going, okay, that's a joke I can write, but this one feels like more like a video. Again, it's connecting with the Most High, because God speaks to us, bro, all day, every day. You feel me? It's like we're not perfect. Like we're not perfect human beings. So sometimes some of these ideas just slip by, but the ability to split, go, that feels more like it'd be funny if it was acted out, and that would be funny if I just said it out. Let me write it. You feel me? If you can split that too, then you can create your content, bro.
Yeah.
But then again, AI's in the mix, so you gotta tap into AIs, bro. Whether you hate it or like it, it's here, boy. How? AI is here, boy.
An interesting thing with AI, and I always find like stand-up to be one of the most interesting ones, is I think at some point, and there's this interesting time where the world's going so digital that at some point the world's in a need to return back to like everything being in person. Like we haven't necessarily fully come back from like a full-on COVID world and everything. And when you think about the art of stand-up comedy, do you ever think there's a need to preserve it different to what's happening online? Or do you, as you say, always keep them as completely separate worlds forever?
The thing about stand-up, if you think about it, AI can't take over like necessarily like telling jokes.
Yeah.
It can tell jokes digitally, but I'm talking like live stand-up. I mean, that means that digital nigga has to be live. Like you actually have to have the robot telling jokes.
Yes.
Which is possible, bro, if you think about it. hey, it's actually possible. And if you think about jokes, you realize that people talk about certain topics a lot.
Yes.
Family, mom, dad, myself, and what you think. You feel me? You can, I hate to say this, but if you roll that data into AI and you put all these, it's a whole lot of ideas, you just put in this dude can literally roll, bro, like just 1 hour full on fire.
Yeah.
Robot, boy. You see?
Yeah.
So I think, hey boy, I'm getting ideas here now, dog. It's like I must own a robot now. No, boy, because I think the way this thing is going, is about who has the best robot.
Who's the best stand-up robot?
You see, boy. Hey, it's actually hitting me now. It's going there. It's going there, bro.
Just giving it prompts for jokes.
Giving it prompts, bro. For real, and it can tell jokes.
Tell a hot five.
But you see, people would hate to hear this. And that's understandable, it's debatable. But the reality is, bro, if you look at how things are going, this is the beginning of AI.
Yeah.
How long is AI with us?
Yeah.
Not even, like before COVID, we didn't have AI, did we? Like a robot and, no, it
Now
came
we're
after
like-
COVID.
COVID, OpenAI,
2020.
2022, ChatGPT is 2022.
2022, bro, it's only 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
You can build a website. I mean, people that build websites are losing work because
Yeah.
ChatGPT can build a website.
Yeah.
ChatGPT can. It's just like, yo, you need to tap in because now I'm saying that's the early phase, but this is the time to tap into. It's like the Bitcoin of potential future.
Futures.
This is the time to tap into it. It's scary to say it like that because I love stand up, but hey, if the road is saying turn left,
Turn left.
ish.
The only thing that I'll say to it is that I think one of the things that's unique and true to like the digitalization of anything is that innately you do lack the diversity. So if you kind of look at like what's happening in like the West in writing rooms in terms of like the content that they're putting out movies wise and in terms of what they're doing in terms of Hollywood and all that stuff, it's lost its quality, it's lost its depth, it's lost its ability to be stories of nuance. And I think part of that has been the introduction of like more technologies, the introduction of people drawing on ideas from AI.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I do believe it is the wave, I still don't necessarily always hold the belief and hold the stance of it is always necessarily going to lead to the best quality of content, to the best quality of writing. I think it's the same thing that people say about, to some degree, like anything, rap music. And oddly enough, I'm going to hate on Drake for all of 2 seconds quickly. All of 2 seconds.
For friends, boys back online, son.
Like, even rap artists back in the day, it used to take them years to put together projects because you only get to access a studio every once in a while. So putting out an album was a moment, it was a thing to appreciate. Drake dropped 3 and said, you'll just listen to them. And most people are probably not going to appreciate them in their full
You
breadth.
dropped 3?
He dropped 3 albums for Iceland. He dropped 3.
3 albums?
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't necessarily think, and I think that's the thing, right? AI always leads to more output, but I don't think it's always better output. And I think the human being, people like you, people who tell stories, people who are connecting humans and seeing the world in a certain way, that's the thing we always appreciate. And I don't think they'll, whether it be online or in person, there'll ever be an ability to replace that desire, that need wholeheartedly.
It's not being replaced. That's what I'm saying, it's the whole debate. It's not being replaced. The reason it's not being replaced is because you are still the person that's creating the jokes. You just now it's just up as a CEO now. You don't have to be the worker anymore, the slave. It's like you can actually go, but you did this, you feel me? You get what I'm saying? Like I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But again, if you take it back to the rap example you gave me of going, you know, it was a moment when you could drop an album. You know what I mean? Like, because it took so much time. But then things process more. Now you got CDs. Now it's a bit better. Now people listen more. Oh, now you got Bluetooth. You feel me? Oh, okay, because now you got Bluetooth, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Oh, so now you can listen to YouTube music. So it's always been fast progression ever since. Has never been tipping. If you look at, like, if you go to the, like, we're just in a different span now of what has been happening from the get-go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't say this is now wrong when all the other things, YouTube, we have Spotify now, we're just in a progressive world, bro. And the sooner that we can, as creatives, tap into that idea of this is the new Bluetooth, the new Spotify, that people can actually listen to your music without it being sold via CDs or like you know what I mean, like via Bluetooth. As soon as this can tap into like this is the new wave. This is the new Spotify that's happening, bro. AI. Bro, I'm telling you, these dogs are funny, boy.
I think I would then ask it to some degree in this way, and potentially I would ask it to.
Sorry to break you, yeah? Because you must think of it, you are a creative.
Yes.
We are creatives. Understand? So whatever it gets put out, where there's those dogs, believe me, it was created by a person first.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. So I think, and this is where I think I agree with you. You can never discredit the creation itself because its source will always be a human.
Yes.
My question is then, and I think it will always be my question,
AI is a tool.
Would you do stand-up if there's no crowd?
Would I do stand-up if there was no crowd? Live stand-up if there was no crowd?
Yes.
I mean, I could do. I've been doing it in my room, bro.
Fair.
That's our practice material.
Fair. But I would then say, and I think I would then ask, which is, in a world where it is going fully digital, in a world where it is going, where we don't need humans, why decide to do something that requires humans so much, that innately requires human reaction, human laughter, human thought, human thinking? Because I don't know. I guess I ask it to say that, what then does comedy mean? And what do you say that comedy's value is for you in that sense?
So again, I am the creator, right, of the content, of whatever that I put out. I am still that person. I'm still the guy that's running the account. What I'm saying is the value of comedy does not lose itself. Because my dog can be funnier than your dog. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything at all. It just means that you don't have to physically put your face as the main face. You can have a dog, bro, that's as funny as hell, an AI. But my dog can be funnier than you. But why is my dog funnier than you? It's because my ideas are maybe more, my people can tap into more audience in terms of the psyche when it comes to humor. So just because we have AI doesn't mean that all of a sudden you become funny. If you were not funny live, you won't be funny on AI.
Yeah.
You feel me? All that's happening is you are turning those ideas that you should have acted and putting it into characters that can actually work for you just by prompts without actually having. But you are still the person that is creating that. Does it make sense? So Kevin Hart, if he had to go AI, he will still be funny. It doesn't change his funniness or his value. It just means that it has less work to do now. He doesn't have to sell CDs anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doesn't have to actually like ask people to please check out put on your Bluetooth. No. He can actually just put some prompts. And it's gonna be funny because it's Kevin Hart. You feel me? So just because you got AI, all I'm saying is just because you get AI doesn't mean that humans are now being replaced, because we are the people that put that content out anyways. Does that make sense? We're just in a different wave, that's all it is. You don't have to act predicament out. You don't have to act Mr. Nonsense out anymore. You can put something, design something, a character, a dog, then you just save your effort and your energy. That's still gonna be funny. But niggas are not tapping into what I'm saying, but they are gonna have to eventually tap in, bro.
But yeah, I think, and I agree. That's why I say I don't necessarily think. My thing is, you can't find trends. I think that's the thing.
You can't fight trends.
Can't fight evolution. And as they say, adapt or die. That's one of my quotes.
Adapt to that, but also adapting in the sense that you shouldn't feel like you're on losing anything.
Yes.
Like I'm saying, you are not gonna lose anything. Like this podcast, you could have literally written the questions and I could have sent you my answers. All right? And we are in a world where this does not have to happen. You can actually sit on your laptop and get two characters online, and it can be a fire podcast, because then when you type my answers down, maybe some grammar isn't right. Now you get like a sort of perfect kind of like podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, it's my answers and it's still your questions. So we do not lose value. We're just tapping into how things are being done now digitally.
See, cool. that's where I think, and I think that's to some degree that's where the human value is that I do believe that I think we do. It's the reason why we don't speak through text. It's the reason why we value conversations. It's the reason why we value stories,
Right.
which is innate to us as human beings, is that we like hearing other humans tell their experience. It's the reason why we have body language. It's the reason why if you asked someone to tell or read of a human being, it's very hard to tell what they're thinking if they're sending a text in terms of their emotion, their viewpoint, their thinking, versus if they're standing right in front of you saying those words. The human experience, yes, can be reduced to text, and that's what history is, right? And history always oversubscribes how much value that these societies are. But we lose out quite a lot on self-being, on interactions. And it's the things that you said. There's no community that is funny on paper unless you've lived in a community. And there's ways to emulate that community, but to understand that community, you have to feel that community. You have to be with that community. And I think where I do agree with you is that what it does then becomes down to output. Who's funnier than who? But I think a lot of what artistry is about understanding who's connecting deeper with who and who's moving people. Because funniness is just, it's a metric. You can always be funnier. There's many people who are funnier. But when you say you like Kevin Hart over Dave Chappelle, it's not a degree of funniness. It's a degree of character. It's a degree of relationship, connection. And so I do hear it. I don't see why it could not be a podcast where it was done online. But at the same time, I think had it been done online, I would have not known that you hadn't moved to South Africa, you weren't speaking English. There's many things that I think are true to your story that come out naturally that if I had asked you over text, you would have probably been like, the hell this guy, hell this guy asking me that for? Like, he think he the FBI or something.
Yeah, I feel you. Fair.
But I do want to leave it in closing to the work that you've done, the thing that made me message you and kind of put me back on the radar.
Yeah.
The Savanna thing, the newcomer thing, that process. Firstly, congrats, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Ash, hot five.
Yeah.
Hot. I saw it on PNC and I said, yay.
Yeah, shout out.
But you've been working on that thing for time.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that 5? Take me through making the decision for a 5, the process.
Yeah.
But also, what was your thinking before and after you dropped that heat?
Because, okay, so I've got like a sample of a lot of jokes. So you have to, like you said, pick those 5 that you feel will do on that night, or you possibly just feel that, okay, if I said this, it's going to work. Feel me? That process of picking those jokes was based on me picking the hottest I've got. All right? Once I had the hottest I've got, what I think were hot, you feel me? Once I had what I thought was the hot 5 minutes, I then had to like go and say, okay, so these are random hot gags. There's maybe 30 seconds, other ones, and there's different topics. So maybe, like I said, the opener was always like, my name is Sacre, as you can tell by some voice, I'm not playing with me anytime soon. Then it jumps into this and jump. Those are all like, if you look at those jokes, when you look at my one man, when I do my one mans, they don't flow like that. You feel me? So I then had to take those hot stuff and see how I can make them flow into a story.
Yeah.
I had to create a story to make it sound like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. You feel me? So that was the whole thing of it's getting the 5 and then they're all random and then going, how do I turn a joke or how do I turn a story out of these jokes? You feel me? A storyline behind these jokes. What can it be? So that's what I had to do. That's again the repetition of going to different clubs and trying that sequence, changing it up, going, and then finally going, fine, this is it. And you gotta lock in, you know what I mean? Because now it's like this eat. I don't want to change it. I'm gonna keep it like this. This is how I'm gonna deliver it. This is the pace behind these jokes. And I go on stage, this is the delivery, this is the acts behind it, my movements, whatever. And that's it. There's no turning back once you're on that stage. There's no going, oh, what if I said, oh boy, distraction.
Yeah.
It's that, and once you're on that stage, you just gotta go deliver. This is what I practice. This is delivery. Once it's over, bro, it's like then you just gotta treat it as another set. It was just another set.
Wow.
We move on to the next, which is going to Casa in Woodstock.
Really?
Bunch of drunkies there, bro. You're like, you're like, yo, I just performed in front of like a couple of hundreds, bro. You're like in front of 4 people now, shit. And this is like, shut up, go, yo, humbles you. But that's the thing with comedy, it humbles you, bro. But again, get it fine. I turn into a storyline, get on stage, deliver it as clean as I possibly can, and then after that, it was just another set.
Yeah.
It was just another set. You move on.
And did you apply to get on? Like, when did you know that you were doing a 5 and like the time to prep that 5? And like, what was that timeline like?
Alright, cool. So, first of all, we do apply. So you send like a little snippet of your set, or like just of a set of you doing stand up, and then they select the top 20s of whoever across the country, right? They find out the top 20, finding people out, and then once they have the top 20, they send an invitation like, "Yo, this is when it's happening." You feel me? And from then, but even before then, you already know what your 5 kind of also does look like.
Yeah.
Or just that when it comes to like where you want to be your best, so you go, let me try and get this hot stuff in your ass and see what I can do out of it. You feel me? But the invitation, they tell you what a date is, and that's when your prep starts as well for that specific set of going to different rooms and playing whatever. But on that night, you gotta lock in, bro. I was first on my lineup.
Gee.
I was in the first heat, the first act. You gotta warm up. You gotta set the tone, my son. You feel me? So like the pressure is even like, damn, first heat, first person on stage. Then I don't lie, I was sitting in the back like locked in, bro. Don't speak to me, boy. You feel me? Like on stage, Sacre is first. And they didn't tell you like they didn't like give you like numbers where you could like
So
you
it was
have an idea.
random.
They just ran like, yo, first is Sacre. Boom. You roll, son. That's what happened. That's a random, boy.
Jeepers.
So can you imagine the nerve wracking it is? Like,
It's just like, just you're walking on going, nah, I've got it in shape.
you're like, yeah, it's me. But like you mentally prepare yourself to go, I can be first. I am first. It's me. You believe, you feel me? Like, it's me. I'm first. Okay, cool. I'm first. That's what I was saying in my head the whole time. But yeah.
In closing, I want to ask, what's next for you in this journey, in this space, before I ask the final question?
What's next for me, man, is I'm working on a show.
Yeah.
It's happening on the 28th of August. It is available on my socials. It's called Sacre Kayemba Live. I don't want to put a name to it. I want to actually connect to the crowd this time and not just necessarily tell jokes. You feel me? I want to connect to the audience this time, do a lot of crowd work questions, and just tap into my audience. You feel me? That's Sacre Kayemba Live. It's happening on 28th of August. Tickets are already also available on Quicket. Trying to drop my own merch. Trying to tap into more of the fashion side of things. I've got my ego character, which is Mr. Nonsense right now. And he is basically a character that goes around tapping water. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
So I'm trying to tap more into like just that content, producing more content, and also, just creating more content, establishing my YouTube platforms. And that's what next for me. Maybe 5-10 years from now, hopefully, I will retire by the grace of God.
I guess my final question to you is, what's your message to everyone? What do you hope for them to take away from this? And what do you hope they get from this conversation?
To everyone who's listening or watching the podcast, shout out to you first for watching Misunderstood Podcast. Do smash a like and subscribe if you are watching it.
Appreciate it.
What I do hope people take from this is that the ability to like create things, if you are creative, requires a lot of like self-knowing, you know what I mean? And that once you have that specific knowing that you know, I like doing this thing. My hope is that people actually tap into it, because people need people, like you said, like we need creatives, whether it be art, drawing, or whether it be like comedy, whether it be whatever it is, man. People are going through a lot out there. Like if you look at like the social things are working, the 9 to 5s and all that, it can get crazy. If you have got a skill or a talent to create things that makes people feel better, whether it be stand up or whether it be comedy in terms of like skits or whatever, tap into it, create, because you do not know who's watching across that screen and what they're going through and what hope you are delivering for them. So I hope that people become more enlightened in the sense that they are all gifted, they all have a certain talent that the rest of us don't need. And it'd be great if they can just tap into it and produce that the rest of us to see, to be beautiful. Yeah, man.
Sacre Kayemba.
Yes, sir.
I want to say thank you very much, bro.
Don't forget the dogs.
Yeah, don't forget the dogs. It's AI dogs. It's happening.
Yeah, shout out.
AI. I would have loved to have had a conversation with you about AI. I think there's so much. There's a world. There's questions. There's everything. But as you guys heard, one-man show, Sacre Kayemba live. I'm gonna put the link in the bio. It's happening. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for making people laugh. Thank you for making people think. And, shout out to the AI dogs, as we say. It's not for all the dogs out here, but it's good. Yeah. Peace out. This has been Misunderstood.
Cheers, man.